Hello, I'm PT, and I want to welcome you to my show, Wisdom First. And I want to thank you for tuning in. And if this is your first time, I want to say welcome and thank you for watching. I also want to encourage you to go back and take a look at the prior episodes, and I believe that they will richly bless you. Today we have a great topic, but before I introduce that topic, I have a question. Are you tired of learning things the hard way? If that's the case, then apply wisdom first. So let's go. Today I'm going to be talking about advice not taken. Advice not taken. How many times have you given someone advice or someone has given you advice and it wasn't taken? If you think about it, what were those results? Most of the time, it was a decision that changed the course of your life. And so today I want to talk to you about where to get this advice that you can be secure in and you can apply it to your lives to get things turned around, right? For example, last week we talked about bad company, right? So we talked about bad company, but do you know somebody went out after receiving that information, they went out and hung out with the wrong people, they didn't take the advice, and now they're suffering the consequences for that decision. And so I want to encourage you that there's an old saying that, well, they used to say when we were growing up, it says that when you know better, you should actually do better. And I hope what you're learning, you will apply to your lives so that things can start changing. And so again, today we're going to be talking about advice not taken. There's a proverb that I want to take you to, and we've been coming out of the Proverbs, and we're going to stay right there because I believe it's a great place to get good advice. There's a proverb in the book of Proverbs, chapter 1, is verse 29 and verse 30, and then I'm also going to read verse 33. And let's take a look there. It says this: "You have never had any use for knowledge and have always refused to obey the Lord. You have never wanted my advice or paid attention when I corrected you. But whoever listens to me will have security. He will be safe with no reason to be afraid." And so there's a lot said in those few verses out of the book of Proverbs when it comes to how to receive and the importance of receiving good advice, right? And so I want you to remember this about knowledge, because in order to know whether someone is giving you good advice, you need to have knowledge about whatever it is they're advising you to do. So remember, knowledge is what? It's an applied fact or idea that's acquired by study, investigation, and observation, right? And so knowledge is good, but here it also says what? But to refuse to obey the Lord or anybody that's giving you good advice, then, if that happens, then what you're doing is you're disrespecting the Lord and you're disrespecting that person that have the knowledge to help you make a decision in your life that's going to ultimately help you and help the course of your life, right? I want to look at this word advice. I went to the definition, and this is what it says. Advice is guidance or recommendations offered with regard to care and thoughts for one's future, typically from an expert. Typically from an expert. So if there is a decision you have to make, I believe that if you seek out an expert, if you look into the scriptures, you will find the answer that will literally help you to make the decision you need to make from the right place, right? So a lot of people don't want to take in people's advice because they've been hurt, right? Somebody's given them bad advice before, or they made a decision based on what somebody else said, and it messed them up. And so now, because of that hurt and because of that experience, they don't want to listen to nobody. And that's not a good place to be. Just because one person did you wrong or led you the wrong way, don't have to happen again. But it's not just not going to happen. Now you know where to get that advice, and now you know how to receive that advice. And you will understand that more clearly as we go on this topic. Says right here, I wrote down that your life can literally change, right? What you need to do is just start taking advice from the Lord, as I said earlier, and who? Experts are people that are knowledgeable actually in the area that you need advice, right? Don't just go to anyone for advice on subject that they're not aware of or they don't know about. Go to somebody that's an expert in that area, and also seek these proverbs and other places in scripture that will give you knowledge on that area. Because if you receive it from an expert or you receive it from the scriptures, it's going to be truth based on their expertise, based on the word, and you will make the right decision. You will get the right advice. So it's interesting because another part of that verse said this, that this advice that you get, it will be secure, it will be safe, and you don't have to fear the outcome. It talked about finding security in good advice. So you will literally not have to fear the outcome. Because what? God's word is true. And not only that, getting information from an expert in their field will be a big help in making good decisions, right? And which will literally turn your life around. Me and my wife, right now, we're in the process of making some decisions. I'm not going to get into what those decisions are that we have to make. But one of the things that we're doing is that we're using this process to make sure that we make the right decision. And so we're going to seek the word. We're going to get some insight. And then we're going to talk to somebody who is knowledgeable in that area so that we ultimately make the best decision, and then we don't have to walk in fear that this is not going to turn out right. Okay? And so I want to say this, that I know, again, as I said earlier, you've been hurt. Somebody's shared something with you that kind of messed you up. And we all have. I've taken advice from people, and it was the wrong advice, not knowing. But have I given up on people that are experts in their field that can help me make some better decisions that will get me better outcomes? Of course I can. And you can too. And I want to encourage you to do that. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on your hope. Don't give up on your ideas. Apply this. Start looking for those people, looking in the scriptures, and getting this advice that you need that will help you to make better decisions, right? And so as I conclude, I have a question for you. Where and whom are you seeking advice? And how's it turning out? Maybe you need to change where you're getting that advice from. Ask yourself that question. I got a decision to make. Where am I seeking help, or who am I seeking to get the information that I need to make the right decision? What am I seeking? What am I reading? Who am I talking to? I encourage you to look in the scriptures. I encourage you to find somebody that's knowledgeable in that area, that is an expert, and you will come out with the right decision, right? Secondly, I want you to get a takeaway from this episode, and I want you to post it. I want you to share it with others, and I want you to let me know that you applied this principle and something came out good as a result of it, right? Hopefully you enjoyed this topic. Out of wisdom first, advice not taken. Start taking good advice. Come on, let go of the past hurt, let go of the pain, let go of those that led you astray. Again, we've all had people share things with us that it didn't turn out right, but don't give up on finding good people. Don't give up on the scriptures. Don't give up on people that are knowledgeable in whatever area. I don't know, for some reason, maybe you got to make a decision about a home purchase. Maybe you got to make a decision about a relationship. Maybe you got to make a decision, a financial decision. You know what? A business decision. Seek somebody that's knowledgeable in that area that will be able to give you insight, search the scriptures, get truth, and you will make the right decision. Why? Because you're going to take the advice of an expert. All right? So again, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Wisdom First. If you did, look, I want you to follow. You know what we're going to be talking about on the next episode? I have a great episode coming up. On the next show, we're going to talk about wisdom's benefits. Do you know that there are benefits to applying wisdom in your life? I want to talk to you about those on our next show. I hope you tune in. But remember to share, follow. Share this information with others. I know you know someone that needs it, right? And so again, I thank you for tuning in to Wisdom First. I'm going to see you next week.